Welcome to MMA Cast. My name's Luke, and I am joined by Zach, the front desk Sensei. Zach, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me, Luke.
So just as a quick recap for people that may not have watched your first interview on the show, and I appreciated you back then, you're back on again. Tell us why your nickname, Zach Snyder, is front desk Sensei.
Yeah, what really happened was somebody came in one day to ask me some questions at the front desk. They asked me a bunch of questions, and they were very, very serious. And after their whole series of questions, they kind of like looked around and looked at me and said, "Are you like the jiu-jitsu sensei here?" And meanwhile, I don't really even train jiu-jitsu. So I said, no, I'm not the jiu-jitsu sensei. I'm just like the front desk sensei here. And then, as stupid as that is, I don't know, I must have told somebody about it or something, and I don't know. Somehow it's become my nickname. So, but I love it, so I'm rolling with it.
It is a great nickname, and you didn't actually say that you are the front desk manager, business manager for Stout Pittsburgh, which is obviously a huge deal. Let's talk a little bit. You do have a big fight coming up April 15th for Braun the Berg, 16 for 247 Fighting Championships at Monroeville. So that's why you're on the show. But let's talk a little bit, because I had the honor of being a part of the 247 awards, and your two head coaches, one coach, co-coaches of the year, and your gym got named Gym of the Year. So let's first talk about that. How excited were you to see both Coach Will and Coach Mike win, and also your gym? And of course, you work there, so you're a big part of that as well. How'd you feel about them coming up big at the awards?
Sure, it's so awesome to see them get recognition for how hard they work and how well they do, and they do an incredible job. We're all very, very lucky to have them there and be able to work with them and learn from them. And just beyond even their talents within martial arts and their talents as coaching, Mike and Will are like two of the best friends you could ask for. Just great people, great humans. Not necessarily we're best friends, but you just couldn't ask for a better friend than them. They're great people. It's really nice to see them get the recognition because they deserve it. Mike himself, actually, right now, I believe is headed out of Pittsburgh to help coach a professional fight. So he gets a ton of respect. I think it's his acclaim almost regionally and nationally is growing and growing. I think he deserves every bit of it. To see the gym also get recognized is great. Same thing. We have so many excellent coaches at all of our locations. Great staff, great students, great programs, great classes. So it's really nice to see it get recognized. And for me to be a part of it, I'm just lucky to be a part of it, and it feels good,
Well, that is really cool. You are a part of it. Not only are the front desk sensei, but you are the face of when people walk in, which I think is cool. And it's also nice that 247 did the award show. I think a lot of people enjoyed that because it had all types of categories, pro fighter of the year, amateur fighter of the year, fight of the year, all the different stuff that people expect. And I think it really drew a lot of attention to what 247 does. Now, that's the perfect transition for us to talk about. You fought for 247 twice now. You're one-on-one as an amateur fighter. What are your thoughts going into this event coming up?
The only correction I have is I'm actually an undefeated fighter.
What? How did I get this wrong? Usually I'm spot on. I'm so sorry. Let me back up. You are an undefeated amateur MMA fighter. Continue on.
That's right. I have a perfect record.
Perfect.
Of 1-0.
Hey.
Yeah.
Are you fighting a guy? Are you fighting a guy who's 1-1?
He's either 1-1 or 1-0.
Okay, because that's going to be my excuse. If you're fighting a guy who's 1-1, that's going to be my excuse. Just so you are aware.
It's like 1-0, 1-1. It's like the same thing.
But you are undefeated, and what's it like? Yes, 1-0. What's it like going into your second fight, April 15th?
I'm very excited. I fought about the same time last year, so I've had a little bit of a break. I wanted to fight before now, but we opened our new Bridgeville location, our South Pittsburgh location. I work there every single day, so anybody who's watching, you can come train with me, train with Warren, train with Christian, train with Mike Wilkins, train with Brittany Bickhart, Andy Anderson, Jephthah. We have excellent coaching there. Big Lonnie as well. But yeah, I'm really excited to get back in the ring. I feel good. I feel healthy. I feel like I'm improving as an athlete, as a fighter, and so I'm excited to get back in there. I'm really excited.
And now that I am completely sitting corrected, I can say you are correct. Not only are you undefeated as 1-0, your opponent, Christopher Pierce, don't want to besmirch his reputation, is also 1-0. So undefeated versus undefeated, as they would say in other promotions, someone's O must go. So very exciting.
Two
Also,
1-0,
also
1-0 fighters. The stakes couldn't be higher.
there it is. Listen, I'm sure I will throw something out like that on the commentary,
Good.
because it is true. More and more and more among the amateur novice, talent tends to come up very quickly,
Mm-hmm.
And a name you'll be familiar with, of course, James Leto. He's connected to Stout. He's 1-0 fighting Ken Burrs, who's 1-0. And that's a big time fight. They're both very high level collegiate athletes and wrestlers. And that's a huge fight for a guy who's 1-0 versus a guy who's 1-0. So it is true that there can be very significant fights early in your career. And I'd say all fights are a learning process and learning experience for you. You mentioned that you would have liked to fight earlier than this because it's been about a year. What have you kind of been adding on in that year that you've been training?
Well, we're always trying to refine what we have and take on new things, and more so for me in the more recent term, I've been I typically train Muay Thai and I'll roll some jiu-jitsu like occasionally, but now recently when I've been training, I've been having an MMA focus in mind. So when I'm training striking, I'm thinking does this striking make sense for my MMA fight? Because that's the most prevalent thing right now. So in my training, in like everything I'm doing, I'm having that in the back of my mind that this is for this reason, the reason being MMA specifically. So I've tailored my striking to that. I've tailored my grappling toward that. Not in like crazy ways, but just it's in the back of my head for sure. So that's been a bit more of my approach recently. Yeah.
That definitely is part of what I think you're experiencing in the cage, where you got the win in your debut, which was great. Is now you could kind of feel and see how MMA goes together with what you're training. Stout has in the past put on Muay Thai fights. Is that something that you've done with them before? Or is that something you'd like to do, since you mentioned having previously trained Muay Thai specific?
Yep. Yeah, I've done. I did our most recent promotion. I think in August of last year. I won my Muay Thai fight there. It was a lot of fun. I had a tough opponent. I have a real physical style, and I really feel like I put it on him in some ways. And he just stuck in there till the end. He was really tough. So yeah, I like Muay Thai too. MMA, it's more encompassing, so it's more fun and exciting, I think. Although both are great, I love both.
Well, and it's cool because it's cool that you've had both experiences, and I think Muay Thai, for people that may not know, I think Muay Thai is obviously the elite of the strikers. It's everything you can do. For people that may not know, Muay Thai is everything you see done at UFC or Bellator on the feet. If you can do it on the feet in Bellator or UFC, so all the fancy elbows and knees and head kicks. The only difference, I guess, in pure Muay Thai would be the trips and things are Muay Thai trips. They're not like a traditional wrestling takedown. But very, very exciting. It's great to watch.
Of course, right. But then if you can mix those things into your game, it's especially against somebody like, a lot of jiu-jitsu competitors, I'll go and roll with guys, or I'll go to tournaments and I'll do things that are a little like sneakishly Muay Thai in there. Like I'll really like in jiu-jitsu, like I'll only engage people with like the clinch, which is just straight up like standing grappling and trying to like front headlock them. And I'll hit them with like trips and sweeps from Muay Thai, and they're just not really used to seeing it as much in jiu-jitsu. So you can catch people off guard with it.
Well, that makes sense.
Secret sauce.
Well, that makes a lot of sense because the Muay Thai clinch work and sweeps are legal in BJJ because they're not strikes. So to your point,
Yeah.
you were talking about the Muay Thai plum, the double plum, which is like the
Mhm.
front pull down. Very, very cool that you're kind of putting that in there. And that would make sense, right? Because a lot of Muay Thai guys either prepare for, I'm sorry, a lot of BJJ guys either prepare for specific BJJ stuff or kind of the more traditional power wrestling type moves. So
Right.
very, very exciting. Is there sort of a dream submission? Twisters aren't legal in novice, but Twister is kind of like that holy grail. It's only been done a couple times in the UFC. But is there like a dream submission that if everything went perfectly well and you came up with a crazy submission, what would it be?
I'm happy you asked me this. I'm going to give a quick shout out to Michael Lamb. And I'm going to give you a quick shout out to the Pronio brothers. Um, I'm trying to rip Go-Go Platas now.
Oh,
I got it. I got it down pretty good. I want to break the internet and hit Go-Go Platas in competition.
yeah, you definitely would. I should have
Yeah.
put that up there with the Twister. A Gogo Plata is a very rare, is a very rare submission. Tell me a little bit
I
about
think it's so cool.
it is very cool. Tell me a little bit about the brothers that taught you that. Was that instructors within the Stout family situation, the Stout gym family, or did you go someplace else to get that instruction?
There are definitely instructors that could teach you that. It's Stout. Everyone has their different style, so maybe they don't prefer that. And also, I think it's a little bit of a it's super cool, I think, but I don't, it's rare that it's been hit. Very, very, very rare that it's been hit, especially in MMA. The brothers that help me are Joe and Eugene. They're really, really cool. They're just students at our gym, but not only they're students at the gym, they are completely students of the game. Like they love jujitsu, they love MMA. They put in so much hard work, time, and effort, and so you can go to them. They have like their knowledge base is real broad for how long they've been training because they love it so much. Uh, and then Michael Lamb, shout out Michael Lamb. He's he trains at our gym. He's a student too. He's real athletic. He's real talented. He thinks he's faster than me, but I would absolutely dust him in any race of any distance. 40-yard dash to marathon, he couldn't touch me. Sorry. I'm gonna tell him
Wow.
to go watch
What
this. Sorry,
about
I had to throw
what
that in
about
there.
what about the track event that's considered the toughest at the Olympic level, which would be the 400-meter intermediate hurdles?
Yeah, I used to run 300 hurdles in high
There you go.
school. I never ended up running them in college, but those are definitely very, very hard. 'Cause in high school, you run the 300 hurdles
Right.
and the 400-meter dash, so they were pretty much comparably like awful. But in college, it becomes 400-meter hurdles.
Mhm.
And I never ran that, but I have to imagine it's probably almost even worse than just sprinting a straight up 400. You're
But
sprinting a 400.
your trash talking holds true. You would still dust him in the 400-meter hurdles.
Dude, Michael Lamb, you're going down, son.
I just
Sorry.
love it. Listen, anytime there could be trash talking about track, so anywhere between 40 meters and a marathon. I think if I were Michael
Yeah.
Liam, I would challenge you to a marathon, run half a
Mhm.
mile, but you wouldn't know that, and you would run the whole 26.2, and I'd be like, yeah, that's
I'll
how
do it.
I would play that game.
I've done it before. I'll do it again.
There you go. Well, that brings up the obvious question. Glad I asked you about sort of a dream submission that you'd want to hit because some people, keep it basic. What's nice about MMA is you can survive on obviously rear naked chokes. We watched the big UFC event where the Bullet Shevchenko lost her belt to a really good rear naked choke. I mean that still changes. Lots of things change hand on rear naked chokes and guillotines and triangles, arm triangles, a lot of the basic stuff.
Mhm.
But another question would be your conditioning. You mentioned that you've run marathons before, so where do you think your conditioning stacks up against other 155ers? I would say 155ers tend to have kind of freak level conditioning. Probably 170, 155 and down just becomes monsters in conditioning. And
Mhm.
that's hats off to everybody at those lighter weight classes, but it tends to really be cardio machines. I'm thinking Frankie Edgar and, all
Mhm.
those kind of machine guys at 155 and under.
Yeah, it's when you're not carrying too much extra weight on you, whether it be muscle or fat, your body can work more efficiently. which kind of is a good point for MMA and competition, right? Using your like breath and using your strength and your energy as efficiently as possible. Um, I've got weird cardio. Like I could probably go run a marathon tomorrow, but it's not like I'm this like engine who like never gets tired, you know? It's like, so I'm kind of weird like that. Yeah, you know, it makes a huge difference to have good cardio. I'm not saying that I have stellar cardio or anything, but for people that do, they're able to operate at a higher level longer. So just the output and the volume they're at and the quality of what they're doing is better for longer, and that makes a big difference. Yeah, for sure.
Sure. Well, that's a very good technical breakdown of why cardio is so important. A lot of MMA fighters, or really any competition athlete, that's a great spot for them to improve because they know that they can control their cardio. They may not control, obviously, if they get hit or put in certain situations, but we've seen people put. I'm thinking of Justin the General Patton. He was put in a really bad cardio sucking position of a fully locked in. Body triangle, which his opponent at the time was on a 3-fight win streak out of Roofer Sport, just a huge opponent out of a huge gym. And he would dominate. I mean, it was a crushing. I don't think anybody would want to get stuck in that body triangle. But one of the things that Justin Patton did is he couldn't get out of it. So he stayed safe and fought through 4 minutes or so of it, whatever it ended up being, 3 or 4 minutes,
Crazy.
But then just dominated the rest of the 2 rounds because his cardio. And if anybody doesn't know what that is, a body lock triangle is put on like a backpack and you've got somebody's shin right across your diaphragm, and it literally makes it almost impossible to take deep breaths. And we've seen some of the best fighters when when they get stuck in that situation, their cardio drains. So to your point, hats off to Justin General Patton and you. Like cardio does make a huge difference in really bad situations.
Totally agree. Yeah, and props to him, definitely.
That's just one of those things. As an announcer cage side, we had said during the walk, hey, got to watch out for his opponent. He's going to try to put him in the body triangle. And nobody had gotten out. Like his 3 wins were all from that position. And then Justin obviously got into a dangerous position, but part of the cardio can kind of help you get through. We've even seen cardio machines. I mentioned Frankie Edgar, you know, his 2-3 wars with Gray Maynard. He got knocked out almost like 4 times in each fight, but obviously that's head, but it's also his cardio was able to keep him in it. So I really appreciate having you on. Since I've been talking about some fighters, who's your current sort of well-known fighter, whether it's UFC, Bellator, who's kind of your big-time fighter you're currently a fan of?
Wow, you know, I love being on. I appreciate you having me on. I was just thinking about this. I was like, you know who I really love? I was just thinking about this yesterday. You know, I like people with like Thai styles, you know, more and more I've been watching One Championship.
Sure.
And to me, honestly, it feels like, you know, they put on such a good show and with a variety of fights and stuff. And it's just so fun to watch. It's exciting. It's not, maybe the MMA isn't high level, but to see high level Thai box and kickbox. I love watching like Stamp Fairtex just because of her energy and her personality. She's the best. Man, I'm ending this on a dud because I literally cannot.
No, that's
I just saw.
That's okay.
You know, I like athletes in MMA, right? You know, so I appreciate people who are like adaptable and have like styles that blend and aren't too focused on one thing, and that even people that are able to like adapt their style to the fight and to the scenario and find the way to win.
Sure.
I think that's really like a mark of like a really talented person, physically and like in your fight planning and prepping. So yeah,
well, that's again, that's a really good. I think part of the fact that you're the front desk sensei, you like the analytical responses. You like breaking stuff down. So I agree with you. An athlete that's able to adapt and figure out the style in the fight that will work for them. Obviously, I think that's really exciting. I'm also glad you gave a shout out to One FC. They're a great promotion, and I've had fighters on the show, this podcast, that their kind of high-end goal is to make it to One FC, particularly lighter weight fighters, 155 and under. It's a great promotion for that. And Sean, Sean, the Filipino Flash Susha, who actually beat Justin, the General Patton, it all kind of connects. He fought for 247. He was on the show and he said, like, he is Filipino, of course, and they tend to cater to an Asian population or Asian viewership. But he was saying, like, that is his long-term goal, is a dream would be fighting for ONE FC. I've also had a very high-ranked 125 fighter outside of the UFC, Sean Shorty Rock Centella, and he's a guy from Scranton, somewhere, New York, New Jersey, you know, white guy, but his goal long-term is to fight for ONE FC because they really do put on great shows. So to your point, I'm glad that you pointed that out. But there was actually a correct answer. And the correct answer that you did not give me, and I'm mainly saying this because Ryan Middleton loves to bust me on my love for GSP, but your correct answer is GSP. You failed, but no, that's okay.
That's actually, you're right. I did fail. Trust me, I failed. Like, I swear I cannot remember this person, but that actually is kind of my answer, right? He kind of did that. He was like a freak athlete who made like the best out of every situation. You know what I mean? Like, he was like very adaptable. And
I'm mainly bringing that up to poke fun at Ryan Middleton because he's right. I really am a fanboy for GSP, but you're right. Like, one of his freak athleticism things is he really good as a male gymnast, like doing male gymnastic stuff, even as a champ. And even though I think there were times that, you know, he kind of, I mean, he was good everywhere, but he really pushed the wrestling, the double leg takedown, all those. Yeah. He was never a wrestler, you know.
But he never wrestled.
But he doesn't wrestle. I was going to say, that's the interesting part. Yeah.
Is it not true? He like didn't even like fighting. He was like, I don't, you know, training's cool. I don't really like the pressure and stuff. And he's still that good. That's just like.
Well, one of my favorite quotes, and there's many from GSP, is that he says, I'm not a fighter. I'm a mixed martial artist. Of course, he says it in his accent. And so it's artiste, really cool. Which is really cool. But he kind of makes sense. His mindset is he was bullied as a kid. He doesn't like bullies. He doesn't like the, like you said, the pressure. He doesn't like the idea of fighting to like hurt somebody. He likes the art side. And that makes sense, right? Very cerebral, kind of like you.
Totally.
Like breaking down fights from the, and really Muay Thai does that. There's a lot of, and I know you'll know them more than I, but there's a lot of rock star Muay Thai fighters in Thailand, and it's all technique. Now, obviously, a lot of them are in incredible shape, but a lot of them thrive on their technique and survive on their technique. Same thing with BJJ, really an art design for people that aren't physically intimidating to really be good. So I think it does make sense. And GSP's point is that the art, making it all blend together is what he excelled in. And I think that makes sense from the artiste, which is how he would say it. I'm trying to get my French accent going, but
totally.
Really,
I spoke with a woman today. I was having a sandwich and she sat next to me. She said she was from out of town. We started chatting. I told her I basically coach and work at the gym and fight. And I told her, and I've told people before, once you take the brutish aspects out of it, and even like the violence to a degree out of it, and like the machismo out of it, really is just like art. It's just like almost like a dance or a gymnastics with consequences, with bigger consequences in a way.
It's dancing with consequences. Performance. That sounds good. A quick ripoff of Dancing with the Stars show. Dancing with consequences. Hey.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I really appreciate you, Zach, for coming on the show. Everybody needs to come out to see you, buy tickets from you, and from your gym to support you as you're an undefeated fighter taking on another undefeated fighter in your opponent. And I apologize for that again, but two undefeated fighters clash for Brawl at the Berg 16, April 15th for 247 Fighting Championships at the Hollywood Casino at the Meadows. Great location, great event. Can't wait to see you live in action.
It is. Come watch me. Come watch James Lito. Come watch Miguel Francisco. Stout PGH. Thank you for having me very, very much.
I'm honored to have you on the show. Stout Pittsburgh is going to be well represented. You take care.
You bet. Take care, brother.
Bye-bye.